we got to get into this Aaron Rodgers thing.
Okay, first of all, in the comments section, do you like Aaron or do you hate Aaron? Because that's the kind of guy this is. We need to establish that first. Aaron Rodgers is somebody you either like or you hate. You either think it's cool that he goes into the dark and craps himself on ayahuasca, or you think that's really stupid. Like, where are you guys at on this?
Why didn't you go with his family hates him too?
Well, because that's down the line. You know, the darkness stuff is weirder. That, to me, takes the cake.
So I am not an Aaron Rodgers fan, even though he owns the city of Chicago. Like, I've seen the deed and trust. I am not an Aaron Rodgers fan. I think he doesn't win. I think he's one of the most overrated quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, who is the singular reason the Packers don't have multiple championships. And so let me get this right. You trade for Aaron Rodgers. He's the reason that your team fell apart last year. He's been the reason you've been bad. Bobby Saleh showed up at the facility after another terrible loss, gets fired 5 minutes after he demoted Hackett, who is Aaron Rodgers' guy. And you don't think Aaron Rodgers had any role in that? And Aaron Rodgers, and I'm going to play you this bite in a minute. Aaron Rodgers yesterday said he took it personally that people were accusing him of firing Bobby Saleh. Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, said yesterday that he did talk to Aaron Rodgers. Of course I talked to Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers yesterday went on the Pat McAfee show and said this.
As far as any of the ridiculous allegations out there, I'm not going to spend more than one sentence in response to it, and that is that I resent any of those accusations because they're patently false. And it's interesting the amount of power that people think that I have, which I don't. But I love Robert, and it was, one of those days yesterday.
One of those days.
Oh, you resent any accusation. Well, if you resent them, they must not be true. Aaron Rodgers has been a problem his entire career.
Yeah.
He's, in my opinion, Aaron Rodgers is high maintenance. In my opinion, Aaron Rodgers is not worth the problems. The juice is not worth the squeeze on Aaron Rodgers, if you will. I would not have him on my football team.
Yeah, well, I just think that people like to characterize this guy as the greatest quarterback of his generation. And, he's been incredible. And I just don't think that's true. Has he had a Hall of Fame caliber career?
Certainly.
But the Hall of Fame and his candidacy for that is not an excuse for being a coach killer, as I call him, because the fact is he did get Mike McCarthy fired in Green Bay. He did. That happened. And then he left Green Bay to go to the Jets to chase a Super Bowl. And obviously, he didn't roll up to the Jets saying, yeah, I'm going to tear my Achilles and not play. I mean, obviously. But you have the injury, and you've just been this thing, this pariah might be strong, but
you are a cloud hanging over that organization.
In any organization that you've been a part of.
He is, and I guess the right way and the question to ask here, if you're the owner of the Jets and you're going to fire Bobby Saleh, do you not call Aaron Rodgers? Okay, let's say he didn't call him for the purpose of firing Bob Saleh. But didn't you call Aaron Rodgers and say, how are things? How do you feel like the team's doing? Hey, what's your thoughts on Bobby? Hey, Bobby called me last night, Aaron, and he said he's going to take play calling abilities away from your guy, Nathaniel Hackett. What do you think of that? Is there anybody who believes Aaron was like, yeah, that's the right thing to do? And, as you saw on the sideline a couple of weeks ago, Bobby and I are tight. Like, that's my guy.
Yeah, we hugged it out, dude.
I just respect the hell out of Bobby. Who thinks that's what happened? Or, let's get crazy. Aaron Rodgers said to Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, yeah, that prick doesn't know what he's doing on offense. He should butt out of it. And I'm telling you now, if he takes the play calling away from Nate, I'm going to have a real problem with it. So do some math. My team sucks. My quarterback is pissed off at the head coach. We can't score points, and the head coach doesn't know anything about offense. And now I'm about to lose the iconic star of my team, who I paid a boatload to get here. Yeah, I'm going to have to say Bobby's out.
And now, because all this has happened, it's been so well documented. Aaron Rodgers doesn't like to run motion pre-snap.
No,
and
he does
everyone's
not.
talking about it.
No, he does not.
And so all of that's happened and is true. And at the same time, Woody's got to sit here and say, yeah, man, my quarterback doesn't want to get with the times, doesn't want to run motion, doesn't want to run play action, doesn't want to do these things. And his guy, Nathaniel Can't Hackett in the NFL,
okay,
is not getting the job done with the scheme and the plan we're running.
Schemers.
So I have to sit here and fire Bob and just hope to God that first team all ayahuasca and Can't Hackett can figure this thing out.
But did you guys hear what Jeff Ulbrich, the new head coach of the Jets, said yesterday? And we don't have the clip, but he said that he essentially said Aaron Rodgers is the offensive coordinator. Aaron Rodgers likely did not say to Woody Johnson, you're fired. You're fired. Okay. But isn't this the same thing as I'm immunized? Isn't this the exact same thing? Where Aaron Rodgers, when asked if he had been vaccinated, said, yeah, I'm immunized.
Yeah, I've been immunized.
And then on the Pat McAfee show over the summer, said, oh, I said that intentionally because the media is stupid. They don't even know what immunized means. Yeah, I didn't tell him to fire Bobby, but it's not like I supported the guy. Isn't this the exact same thing?
Yes.
I'm telling you it is.
Yes.
It is the exact same thing.
Yes.
And I agree. Robert Saleh should not be the head coach of any NFL team. I want him, when the Bears fire Eberflus, please, if there is a McCaskey listening to me in heaven, hire Bobby Saleh to be the defensive coordinator. Right after you hire Bobby Slowick to be the head coach of the Bears.
Yeah.
That's what I want. Robert Saleh can coordinate my defense every day of the week. He just can't be my head coach. And if I'm the Jets, I'm doing everything I can. There's only one candidate for any team that has offensive issues or has a young quarterback or cares about scoring points, and his name is Bobby Slowick, and he's currently the offensive coordinator of the Houston Texans.
Yeah.
And if he ain't it, Ben Johnson in Detroit.
Yeah.
But I am not going to hire a defensive guy to be my head coach ever, even if there's a fire in the NFL. I'm not hiring a defensive guy to be my head coach. This is an offensive league predicated on success at the quarterback position. Done. That's the whole conversation.
So no, Aaron, I don't give a damn if you resent the accusations or allegations.
It's wild.
Because I have a pretty good idea of what happened here based on your track record and based on the situation that brought you to the New York Jets. And the idea that this guy wants to, and this is, I have to say, this is why I'm not a big Pat McAfee guy. This right here. And I understand.
I knew this was
coming.
From
Pat's side, why this is good for his show. I get that. I respect that. Hey, it's Aaron Rodgers talking about the Jets. Of course, we want to have him on the show. I get that. My problem is that the style of conversation, and really it's not a conversation, putting Aaron on to just let Aaron spew about whatever the hell he wants to talk about, I don't respect that. You're not asking him any type of follow-up question.
I would agree.
You're not digging in on what he's actually saying. So Aaron, you're saying you don't have any power, that people think you have more power than you actually have. So how would you characterize your influence in the Jets organization? Aaron
said on Pat McAfee yesterday, it's amazing the power people think I have. He wants to be blameless here. Aaron, you're not blameless.
You don't get to be the quarterback and not be blameless.
And You look at these coaches across the NFL, and yes, I'm going to go right back to the Cleveland Browns.
As you should.
Should you fire Kevin Stefanski? No. Do you think that guy accidentally won the Coach of the Year twice in the last 5 years? No, it wasn't accidental. Kevin Stefanski, they're talking about him giving up play calling duties to Ken Dorsey. That's the wrong thing to do.
What do you make of, I agree it's the wrong thing to do. What do you make of the rumor out of Cleveland that Kevin is being forced to play Deshaun? That hey, they paid him, ownership's not letting him go to James.
I think it's really dangerous to make that assumption. And I understand that ownership has a massive go back. Wind the clocks back.
Let's wind the clocks back a year.
To when you traded for Deshaun Watson. Do you think that Kevin Stefanski was like, hell yes? No. I'm guessing hell yes wasn't the answer.
Well, who did you have playing quarterback for you at that time? And remember what happened.
And if you say his name, I will do nothing bad.
Joe?
No.
I'm Mr. Clutch Flacco, dude.
No. Who was your quarterback at that time? Or who were you coming out of? Baker Mayfield. Who does every Cleveland Browns fan want to be the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns today? Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield. And I don't understand. And Browns fans are a long-suffering fan base. But pining for Baker Mayfield is a terrible place to go. It's the wrong thing to do. You've got to make this right with Deshaun Watson and Kevin Stefanski. And again, I'm just going to say, Andrew Berry is a phenomenal executive. Kevin Stefanski is a phenomenal offensive mind. They don't have an offensive line. Nick Chubb is not healthy, at least not yet. I was listening to Kevin Stefanski yesterday talk about Nick Chubb's progress. He's doing more in practice. But you don't have your weapons. And I think the single biggest problem now is you've been so bad, Deshaun Watson, that you don't believe in yourself anymore. And a lot of his issues are tied to the offensive line, a lack of production. I think whatever the dysfunction in the play calling is, because you look at the situation in Cleveland, you've got Kevin Stefanski calling plays and Ken Dorsey in his ear. And Stefanski said yesterday that there is a collaborative effort in play calling, which tells me that they're having conversations while the game is going on, as they should, but there is not a clear consensus about what play to run, and Kevin Stefanski's got to tell Ken Dorsey to shut up and call the play. And Deshaun Watson needs to run the play to the best of his ability when it's called and get it in. This idea that Deshaun Watson walked away and he quit on the team. There were 12 guys on the field. What did you want him to do? Because you can't burn the timeout there.
Can't take the timeout.
But what I don't want him to do is slouch off the field.
Yeah.
And perception's reality.
Yes.
But when it comes to the Cleveland Browns, you're not firing Andrew Berry and Kevin Stefanski.
No.
They're not the ones. I would assume they were two of the people that were like, yeah, Deshaun Watson, I'm not so interested. Just the off-field stuff, yeah, I'm not so interested. He settled more lawsuits, I'm not so interested. But this is the hand you've been dealt. The money he is owed, you're not getting out of that. And the guy who doesn't know anything at Fox Sports saying that, oh, they should package their own first-round pick this year. Are you out of your mind? If you believe the Cleveland Browns would be better by packaging their own first-round pick and eating Deshaun Watson's salary to get somebody to take it, you're out of your mind.
Yeah.
Because the thing that Cleveland Browns fans don't want to recognize is Deshaun Watson has shown you flashes.
Yes.
If you had an offensive line and if you had a running back and if you didn't have balls hitting receivers in the chest.
Amari.
And I understand Deshaun Watson has not been good. And at times, this past weekend, he was terrible. But he's not the biggest issue. He's not top 3 issues. I think the play calling and whatever the communication issues are in the coaching staff that allowed 12 guys to be on the field, that's your number one single biggest issue.
Couldn't agree more.
Because I see a football team right now that doesn't have a direction. It doesn't have a direction. So they don't know what they're fighting for. They don't know where the brick wall is they're supposed to be running through.
What's the mission?
So I'm not firing Kevin Stefanski, and I'm certainly not firing Andrew Berry. And you need to lean into Deshaun Watson because we've seen enough to know he can still do the job. And it shocked Dan Orlovsky on ESPN the other day pronouncing his career over. Deshaun Watson career over, done. Shocking.
Yeah, I think that. So I like Dan Orlovsky a lot.
I do.
I like what he does. I think he's a brilliant football mind. I think that Dan went down the path too far with Deshaun. I agree with Dan's analysis of the tape in terms of what the football tape's telling you is wrong with the team and where they could improve.
Yes.
But what I don't agree with is that those issues on the tape are all on Deshaun. Is he missing open receivers?
Yes.
But why? Why is he missing open receivers? Hey, by the way, do other quarterbacks in the league miss open receivers? Yes. And why? Because they're under pressure. They are running. They are not having time to go through the progression. Do you honestly think, in your heart of hearts, Deshaun Watson forgot how to go through a progression and understand how to move a safety?
But it's even more of why is he holding the ball so long? Deshaun Watson tends to hold the ball so long. Is it, as Cleveland Browns fan would tell you, he's trying to play hero ball? No, it's not. I think Deshaun Watson is holding the ball so long because he's not looking downfield. So it's taking him longer to get through the progression because what is his first instinct? Hey, where is the next assassin coming from?
What do I see on the defense? Where's the pressure coming from? And how little time do I have to get away from that pressure to try to create a positive play? So, yes, Deshaun, the tape says on a surface level, Deshaun's missing wide open receivers, and Deshaun is not the guy he used to be or any semblance of that. But furthermore, if we're honest about it, what the tape really says is the leadership in the organization is not organized. The lack of a running back room is absolutely killing you in these games. The defense, I'm telling you, turn on a Browns game the next couple of weeks and watch what the defense does, dude. It's not rocket science, man. The defense is right up against you. They have no fear of anything you're going to do. So they're just suffocating you and you have no time to do anything.
Because your best offensive linemen are on the shelf, as is your best running back. And that's a tough way. It's a tough way to go. So
the easy button of, hey, fire everybody and cut Deshaun and package him with picks and trade his ass, that's not living in reality.
So who are the coaches that could get fired? Are you firing? Is Carolina already going to move on from Dave Canellis? I think that's definitely a possibility.
It's a conversation you have to have.
That they will have, I would not. Is Cincinnati going to fire Zach Taylor?
No.
You don't think so?
No, and he shouldn't be fired. No.
Ooh. That seems disappointing.
Yeah, but I also see again that, like, yes, are they disappointing? Yes, but look at what's led to the disappointment. It's not like the guy is just like the organization just has massive dysfunction. You messed around with Jamar's contract. That was a distraction in training camp.
Did he get paid? He didn't get paid yet.
They didn't pay him yet. Well, that's still
so.
I'd have to confirm that. I don't know. Maybe I got that wrong. But if he didn't get paid, that's still a distraction. If he did get paid, you took too long to pay him. And my point is, Zach Taylor is not the reason you're not doing well. The reason you're not doing well is Joe Burrow's recovery through this wrist thing and situations taken longer than you wanted it to take.
No, Jamar did not get paid.
So Jamar hasn't been paid yet. Joe Burrow's wrist is not 100%, although improving.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't be moving on from Zach yet. Zach has shown you an ability to lead a team to the playoffs and be a real problem for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Mike McCarthy.
No, I wouldn't fire Mike.
They're
gonna. Because that's what Jerry does.
Sean Payton.
No, you're not firing Sean Payton. By the way, you
Shane-
want to talk about a quarterback relationship? What did Bo Nix do in the presser? He joked around about that interaction. For all you, hey, they were yelling at each other and it's burning down in Denver. What did Bo do? He put all that to bed.
Yeah.
He put it all to bed. They're just fine.
Shane Steichen, Indianapolis. You're not going to fire him yet. Doug Peterson, Jacksonville.
Yeah, that's a guy that should probably be fired. Yeah.
Antonio Pierce, Las Vegas Raiders. Yeah, I'd fire him.
Yeah.
In over his head. Sean McVay with the Rams. You don't fire him, you agree to part company.
Mm-hmm.
Boy, that's Kevin O'Connell in Minnesota. Not now.
No, you're thriving.
Before the season?
Yeah.
Dennis Allen in New Orleans.
No, you're doing fine. You're doing better than people thought you would.
I think it's close. Brian Daboll with the Giants.
No, you're not firing
You're
him.
not.
No, because they're playing well.
Nick Sirianni in Philly.
Yeah, I'd fire him. Yeah.
You would?
Yeah, I would.
Kyle Shanahan in San Francisco.
Nope.
Absolutely not.
Not firing Kyle Shanahan.
Absolutely not. I would absolutely
The
not.
guy, and this is why I say, like, whether it's the Deshaun thing, Kyle Shanahan, whoever you want to look at, before you hit the fire buddy button, you need to make sure that it's actually his lack of performance holding the team back. And I don't believe that Kyle Shanahan's the reason they're not winning ball games.
I would agree with that. You can't tell me he's the one that decided to trade for CMC.
But again, everyone's saying that, oh, well, CMC is, what the hell were they thinking? Dude, they went to the Super Bowl last year because of them.
It's not what the hell are you thinking? It's the contract you paid him and the fact that the guy's always been hurt and he's always going to be hurt. And you knew this was an eventuality and you have no backup plan.
Yeah.
You're decimated. And now you have fans wondering if Brock Purdy's the guy in San Francisco, which I think is ridiculous.
Agreed.
I think it's ridiculous. You have a bunch of dudes that you look at Debo, always hurt.
Is it
CMC always hurt?
Is it lost on NFL fans that there are years where you're still a good team, but it's just not your year? Like, you have injuries.
Yeah, that's the Bears every year. Probably a bad example.
And as you can see, there's not much hope for you left.
Like,
would you fire Eberflus?
Probably not. I think you got to make that decision based on where they finish. I think that, Caleb Williams is clearly developing. That defense is clearly in a good spot. Like, you came out. This year's Bears team is winning games in a fashion that last year's team didn't.
Well, and you're positive on points.
Yeah.
So, which I think was one of the definite issues that everybody was worried about 3 games into the season. Well, Caleb's turned it around.
Yeah.
And I think Shane Waldron is not a good offensive coordinator.
By the way,
but
have you guys heard about the reporting on Jaden Daniels and his work ethic? They're saying that dude is in the facility at 4 a.m. every day, getting his lift in before anyone gets there, studying his film. Like,
he is supposedly an iPad warrior. And you can see the result there.
Yeah.
Look at verticality in Arizona, little Kyler.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that it's become a thing where you have to be in your iPad. You have and when I say iPad, that's your playbook and your video.
Yeah.
You have to be in that.
Well, and I think there's been so much made of this, so you guys have probably heard about this, but the VR thing with Jaden Daniels, to me, is brilliant, dude. Like the fact that that's something that he's used so much in his career already, and the fact that it's helping on a weekly basis, helping him, install the game plan for their opponent that week, I think is absolutely brilliant. Because
wasn't there video of him over the summer?
Yeah,
in his basement or whatever, this beautiful space of him running offense and reading defenses in virtual reality.
Yeah,
where he has got the headset on.
Yeah.
Whatever
I think
it's
Oculus. I think it's Oculus.
And he's under center, and you can see him. It's amazing. It is. It's what every quarterback should be doing, and many of them are. I don't know why everybody's not, but many of them are.
Yes.
And if you're a young guy, you got to be doing it.
Well, and I think it's not just the ability to practice like the rep and like reading the defense, but I think it's the visual. That's the thing. That's the thing that I think makes VR so effective. As a quarterback, the way you're practicing, you're getting the exact same viewpoint that you do in the game. So when you see it in the game, you're like, yep, saw this on VR. It's coming from over here. We're going over there. And that's why it's so effective. And I love that innovation in the game.
And I think it might have been John Gruden. I watch a lot of TikToks. It might have been John Gruden over in training camp talking about how it's just like a pilot in a simulator. Because if you look at the way they teach airline pilots how to fly like actual jets, they're in an immersive simulator. It's a box, and it's like the Sphere in Las Vegas.
Yes.
You're surrounded by screens, and you feel like you're flying a plane. That's what Jaden Daniels was doing.
And I think that's absolutely brilliant. And I think that this whole conversation that we always have every year with NFL organizations drafting quarterbacks really high, and hey, what's his bust probability, and like what's the probability of him being an all pro in his position? Things like VR should bleed down at the college level. Go down into college and use that and develop.
Are you a believer that this group, because there's a question about these quarterbacks, and I think very clearly now Drake May is in real trouble in New England.
Mm-hmm.
I think he is in very, very bad shape there. That offensive line is horrendous.
Yeah.
This group of quarterbacks, I think, has two Hall of Famers in Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels if we were making that decision today.
Right.
But I think the guy in the best shape here is Michael Penix Jr. Because he's sitting behind Kirk Cousins, who's balling his ass off right now in Atlanta.
Yes.
And if I look across the league at these young quarterbacks, the guy in the worst shape is Drake May in New England. The guy in the best shape, in my opinion, is Penix in Atlanta. I think, obviously, Jaden Daniels, I just don't know that a quarterback like that comes in and plays with his hair on fire, there's always a hard stop somewhere. Always a hard stop. Because he is exposing himself to injury on a regular basis. I think if you look at the rookies that we've really seen play a lot of football, Bo Nix is an average quarterback. I think Jaden and Caleb Williams have separated themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I honestly, as a Bears fan, I've never been this excited about a quarterback.
Yeah. I mean,
because you're seeing him grow and learn. I mean, cutting his release time under 3.5 seconds, which is not special, but now getting it down.
But it's improving.
Yeah.
It's improving.
I'm seeing it. I don't see it in Bo Nix. I think Drake May is going to be dead before he's ever got a career.
Yeah, I think Drake May's, he's going to suffer from a bad situation, guy. And it's really unfortunate because Drake May's got a huge arm, big body quarterback, could really do some nice things in the league. But if your situation's crap, you're not going to be able to put out good results.
And it's what I worry about with Jaden Daniels. The guy is really good. There's no way not to think the guy's amazing.
Yeah.
I just don't know that he can do what he's done, man. Like it terrifies me, guys.
Well, he's got the horses at wide receiver to keep doing it. I mean, they're
stay in the pocket.
Yeah,
be mobile in the pocket. Move with the idea of throwing.
Yeah,
mirror Patrick Mahomes, who only runs to throw.
Yeah,
that is the way I think you stay healthy. And injuries are going to happen. You're going to get rolled up. You're going to have tough situations. But it's just really scary to me when you have a young quarterback that's playing with his hair on fire. You're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt.
We'll see. I mean, I don't disagree with that, but I also don't think that the guy is, he's obviously someone who's really confident in his passing ability and loves bombing it down the field. And, he's not a run first guy. He's a pass first guy that does like to run a little bit too much. And I think that, I would rather him be a pass first guy that runs a bit too much. We can dial that back, right?
Yep.
I can say, hey, you know what? You're a gifted thrower of the football very clearly. Yes, you are going to have to run for effect sometimes, but we need to prioritize keeping you healthy. And we need to make sure that as a team, we run the football effectively, because what no one's talking about is all those bombs that he's throwing were, before that, they were running the ball and running the ball and running the ball and sucking the defense in and pulling those linebackers up. And then they bomb it down the field. So I just think that Washington honestly has a responsibility to keep him healthy by running the football.
All right, let's get your comment on fired coaches and young quarterbacks after this from the Advocates.
When you've been injured in an accident, you need a lawyer, and you deserve an advocate, because every accident has a ripple effect. It affects your time, your health, your ability to make money, everything. That's where the Advocates can help. Speaking with an attorney is simple and 100% free. We're available 24/7 for your convenience, and we'll take on the claims process so you can rest easy. Because you're not just a client to us, you're a person, and you deserve the best help you can get. You deserve an advocate.